Hello and welcome to another writing video from Rebecca. So first off, I'm going to talk about writing. If you're writing a novel or a poem book or a fan fiction or a non-fiction story, you want to protect it. So my main project is Beautiful Madness, and I have it on this little thingy. You pull this out like this. It says it's called SanDisk Cruiser 32 gigabytes. So I looked it up, buy one. But that's not enough. Putting it on here isn't enough because you could lose this. So email it to yourself. As every time you write it. So lately I've been writing 4 pages a day. I could write 10 pages without stopping. That hasn't happened yet. Another thing is find a notebook that speaks to you, that's beautiful to your heart. And this speaks to me because it's made out of used paper, used cardboard, and it has flowers on it. And so what I did in this is I outlined it. I wrote each character. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 characters. Then I list some things about them when I write down the character's name. Then I say what happens. Tense, third person, scene 1, scene 2, setting, ideas, stuff like that. Then I wrote out most of chapter 1. I think chapter 1 is about to end because I finished everything I outlined for chapter 1. But I still want there to be a little bit more than chapter 1. When I'm done with chapter 1, I'm going to outline chapter 2 and then work on it. So yeah, find something beautiful that wakes you up. Another thing is you could do it on paper, in a binder. I don't have a binder yet, but I found this paper and I decided I need to use it for something special. So I met one of my enemies yesterday. I'm not going to tell you his name. I'm going to protect him even though I hate him. Because the Bible says love your enemies. But he didn't recognize me. He saw me as a strange creature. And so I felt that I was called to write a novel called Strange Creature. So some of this paper is orange. Some is pink. Kids love different colors. And some of it is yellow. So there's a great risk if you do it these 2 ways. Because you could lose the journal, you could lose the paper. It's even worse with paper. Because until you have the binder or a stapler to staple it together, it could get out of order. So I'm not going to start Strange Creature until I have a binder or a stapler. So if you have some ideas for what a novel called Strange Creature should be about, I'd love to hear your ideas. So I've heard about beta reading. I don't like the idea of someone that I don't know reading my novels. But I like the idea of my family reading and giving me tips. So yeah, I have my disk drive for Beautiful Madness in here. I have Hunger here. I have chapter 1's almost done, I think, but I'm not sure. I don't really know how to tell when a chapter is done. When you get stuck is when the chapter is done. That's how I've been working on it. And then this is my 3rd project. Yeah, I'm working on 3 projects at the same time. I haven't decided what Strange Creature is about, so I can't start writing. I'm going to outline it first, then write it. So the main thing is there are no rules. Write from your heart. Let the story of your heart come out. Make things up or tell the story of your life. In Beautiful Madness, half of it's the story of my life, and half of it is a fictional story about the characters that I made up. And so outline, if you're writing pure fiction, and a little bit comes from the heart, but it's 99% fiction, you definitely need to outline it first. You can decide what's going to happen, get to know your characters. Okay, so I've heard the show don't tell whole rule. Show or tell, or show and tell. So what is showing and what is telling? You could say he was sad. That's telling. You could say tears rolled down his eyes. He cried. He was washed away by this love and joy inside of his heart, and tears streamed down his face. That's showing. You're showing things in his body that's happening, that instead of saying he's sad, he's angry, he's happy. Those are feeling words. It's okay to say that. It's okay to put that in your novel, but it's also okay to show it. Too much, no good. Too much description, if it doesn't lure people in and make them want to read your book, isn't good. But there's no rules, so that's just how it is to me. You can make beautiful prose poetry that helps people get into the character's head. You want your reader to root for your characters and help root for their enemies to change or become better. And in my novel, Beautiful Madness, the mind is the enemy. It's about characters struggling with depression and demons talking to them and sadness and mania and fighting and stuff like that. It's about tiger souls, and it's not fantasy, but I feel a strange creature will be fantasy. I have no idea what I'm going to write about. I know God has to be in it. I'm writing Christian fiction, and I don't know what I think about the idea of writing fantasy. And here's the great debate that I absolutely hate: pantser versus plotter. I hate the word pantser, because what does it mean to write from the seat of your pants? Is that like pulling yourself up from your boots? Is that like pulling yourself up from your bootstraps? I don't write from the street of my pants, and I don't always plot. I never did it before. I got to page 182 without plotting, but I didn't use my butt to write. I used my heart, my soul. I just let it come. I asked God, Jesus, Lord of all, please possess me and write. Give me ideas. Help me get in these characters' heads. Tell me the people you want to make that you haven't made yet, and let them become real in my novel. So that's how it becomes real. It's not my story, but it's stuff that might happen and might not happen in the future. It's people that don't exist and people that might exist. Name different names than who they really are. I think that whenever I'm watching a TV show, whenever I'm watching a movie, I think, what if this happened before in real life with different names in slightly different ways? Oh my, there's not much fiction. What if that happened? That's why it's dangerous to be a writer, because you think you're writing fiction, but you might not be. So just write. When you're plotting, if you decide you absolutely need to plot and plan your whole novel out before you even start writing it, I think that would stop you from writing. You get so into the plotting that's already written, and then you get to your computer like, oh my god, I'm just going to write a completely different novel than what I plotted down, because you don't want to look at all your notes. So that's why it doesn't really work for me. But I say plot a little bit for each chapter, write that chapter, take a break, plot a second chapter, then plot more. Write more, plot more, write more, plot more. I find that for writing stories that are more fiction than non-fiction memoirs, you need to plot a little bit more, but you don't need to. So, but I absolutely hate the word pantser and plotter, because plotter can mean people plotting to kill, people plotting to hurt. And so I don't like that word for that reason. I can call it diagramming, brainstorming, coming up with character names. So that's another thing I'd like to talk about, naming your characters. Look up names. Look up baby names. Browse through the names. Look at the meanings of the names. Find a name that speaks to you. Write that name down on a piece of paper and jot down things and emotions and feelings that you associate with that name without looking at the meaning of that name. Then look at the meaning of the name. Decide if you can accept that or reject that. Decide if you want one of your characters to have that name. So I might do that with some of my sheets of paper. I'm playing Strange Creature. I don't think it's going to be fantasy. It might be a little bit fantasy. I might create different kinds of species that don't exist, like cat people or blue people. But they're going to be freaks, not accepted, and God accepts them. And there'll be enemies. There'll be superheroes and supervillains. And I like the idea of writing it half fantasy, half realistic. Some people think writing with angels and archangels is fantasy, but that's not fantasy to me, that's reality. So yeah, I'm not really a fantasy or horror writer, or even a romantic writer. I just want to bring people closer to God with my writing and help them love themselves. So yeah, that's all for now. Goodbye.